Hello, everybody. Dadman Walking 55 here, coming on another Wednesday night for you. Where we're going to talk more sports tonight, more sports ball at its best. Hey, we've ended up college football season's over. The NFL is now hitting a home stretch with the playoffs system. Yay, the NFL playoffs, everybody's favorite time of year. So, with that, we're going to spend the next few weeks where we focus on the NFL playoffs and these sports weeklies. But tonight we're going to really focus on the NFL playoff talk and more breaking news today in the world of sports, which we will try to address as things happen. Let me go ahead and bring in, we got two of our panelists with us. One is not connected for now, so we're seeing what's going on. But let me go ahead and bring in the great JT Kirk. Hey, JT.
Down the field and gain a Lions victory. Go Lions. Anyway.
Wow. Do they have?
There's a fight song for the Lions, and there you go.
Wow.
Acapella rendition.
That's better than the DC song, and definitely the Miami has it. Miami has its Dolphin. It sounds like the Oscar Mayer song to me. Then we found out, I think, from Clobby the other night that Miami ripped it off, I think, from Kansas City or something.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all.
Or Houston. Oh, Houston. I think they ripped it off from the old Houston team. So
I think the most criminally underrated NFL fight song, though, was for the Superchargers when they were in San Diego. It had kind of like a 70s kind of disco hip feel to it. It was amazing.
Disco lives forever. And speaking of disco, we're going to bring in the great Whoopa Troopa for disco. Why? I don't know, because it sounds good. Whoopa, how are you?
I don't think I know anything about disco. No. I can try, I guess.
Oh, my gosh. Well, hey, disco lives forever. And, hey, one of the other stories that we're going to touch on a little bit tonight is right here, Small Time Republic. Hello. Hell, finally, no more Nick Saban.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see or hear or taste any tears tonight over that news, ladies and gentlemen.
The only thing that could make this juicier is if Alabama hires one specific guy, the guy that will
LSU
not
already
just go
took my
away.
guess.
No, the guy that will never go away. He's always lurking out there. He's kind of like an Oscar Mayer hot dog, Urban Meyer.
Oh, I thought you were going to say John L. Smith.
No. I thought you were going to say Lane Kiffin. That's what I wanted you to say.
Lane Kiffin could be if they wanted to go that, but I think that there's Small Time Republic said it too, but I don't think the blue blood nature of Alabama would stand him though. But let me say hello to that boy Tuna over on the Twitch side. Hey, Tuna.
Hey, Tuna.
How are you tonight? It's his first chat here. Hey, welcome in, that boy Tuna. I know you've been here before, but hey, great to see you tonight. And we appreciate you here. Make sure you follow us on the Twitch side. If you're on the YouTube side, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you're still subscribed because we have hit the 560 mark. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. And how are we doing? I think we're doing pretty good. We're ready to talk some football tonight, especially the NFL football, but we're going to have to deal with some college. So let's go ahead and talk about the Nick Saban thing a little bit more right now while we're waiting on one or two more people to join us on the panel. Whoopa, your initial thought with the news here. Some people didn't think this was going to happen, though.
It was certainly it was pretty big. My friend came and showed me it at work. My coworker was like, "Hey, can you believe this?" I at this point I didn't expect it just because I know there were rumblings, but it kind of died down.
I was surprised he left on a loss. I mean, who cares? He's won so many championships. I just didn't expect it. Guys who were accustomed to winning in competition like that, and then you go out on a loss. I mean, it doesn't really tarnish his career. I just found it a little surprising that, oh, really? Okay.
That was my first thought, too. That truly was my first thought was why he would go out. I figured he would come back another year. I mean, it's not like they're falling apart. It's not like they don't have talent. It wasn't like Urban Meyer when he kind of left University of Florida where you could see the big holes developing and the team falling apart. But I mean, I was surprised with the timing. I did not look, but how is he 69 or has he turned 70 yet?
Oh, good question.
Yeah,
October 31st, 1951. He is 72.
Wow. Yeah, it probably is
Halloween.
time.
Yeah, that's spooky.
That's probably 72 years old. Yeah, that's or 71
72.
Yeah. It's like yeah, you do wonder at that age how much more do you have left in you, and I will say though, I think that everybody has to do what they have to do. Some people retirement is not the best for them. I've seen people that they retire and then they don't last long after because it's like work was their thing, I mean, everybody thinks just magically you retire and everything, but some people are born to work. I know some people that worked up to the last day that they passed away. But you kind of hope that he doesn't have like with Bear Bryant, where he retired and didn't last long. It was pretty quick. You do hope, as much as we dislike him on the football field, I know the LSU fans and Michigan State fans probably do not have any love for him, as well as the Miami Dolphin fans. You still want people to enjoy life and stuff, and it's kind of good that he's picked a good time. At least it wasn't last year where they didn't make the SEC championship game. At least he went out as SEC champion this year.
Yeah, and that might have been enough for him. Yeah, on a personal level, I mean, sure, go enjoy your family and all that. 72, 73 is definitely getting up there, but Dadman, he could be just as busy doing recruiting stuff, consulting work, doing halftime, pregame, postgame on any network he wants to do, unless he's he can't keep himself right for the censors. Maybe that would be the only reason he couldn't get work on TV, right? So,
well, if Urban Meyer can get it, I know this guy can, because this guy won 7 national championships, folks. 6 at Alabama, 1 at LSU. I think probably the LSU one is the most surprising one, because you're going to win championships if you're good at Alabama, but to win at LSU, I think was probably could have been his best job, at that point.
See, and I looked back on his record trying to figure out kind of what was going on there, and he was loved at Michigan State up until the time that he lost, but he didn't really have that great of a time at MSU. If you look, he was 6-5, 6-6, 7-5, 6-6, and then 9-2 was the year before he went and jumped to LSU.
Then he bolted. Yeah.
He lost 3 out of his 4 bowl games. And for most of the time, he was 5th or 6th in the Big Ten during the 90s. And, that's not great. I mean, yeah, he could beat Michigan, but the best he ever did was tied for 2nd. And, so it's not like he was some superstar that you could tell right away. And then LSU picked him up. And yeah, he did pretty well there. 8-4, 10-3, 8-5, 13-1, and then 9-3. In the SEC, that's hard to do. And of course, the Alabama record speaks for itself. But he left, and he could have built something at MSU. I think that's where LSU, Michigan State, those those fans have no love lost for the guy, because.
And hell, Jeremy, good to see you tonight. Hell, back to you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I can understand the LSU fans, but see, here's the difference. At least I can see Michigan State fans having more of a beef because, he just got good and left them. Okay. I can understand the SEC is perceived to be the big football conference, even bigger than the Big Ten. I know you will disagree, but I can see from that standpoint, I could see their thing, but I have a harder time with LSU fans. It's not like he left LSU, went to Alabama. He went to LSU, went to NFL. It was kind of like a Spurrier thing. It's not like he stayed at the same level, went to your rival, dumped you for a rival. He actually, for the nice, attractive chick down the street, he actually went to a higher level to the NFL, learned quickly. He wasn't at that level, so he came back to college. But I mean, what are you going to do? Not take the Alabama job?
Right.
I mean, he'd be insane. So that's where I don't feel for the LSU fans, because they're probably like a little bit like Florida fans, a little stuck on themselves and their egos.
And it's not like LSU took him back. Yeah. No, it's not like they kicked out his replacement and said, "Come right in."
I wish the daggum University of Florida president would have kicked out whoever and brought Spurrier back, but that's water under the bridge. And then we got our two sort of titles that are subject to criminal investigations and stuff. So. But I'll be honest with it.
Counts.
I mean, they do that a lot these days. Those championships are still under investigation.
Yeah,
we might have a current championship under investigation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, Small Town Republic said, I was shocked Spurrier ever went to the NFL. I think it was a matter of his age, and he just said if he's going to do it, he had to do it. And unfortunately, the administration at the time had changed, and they were come from Utah, so of course their bent was to bring in and it was actually, I think, Ron Zook and others after it. Just still, I was like,
but once you hit the NFL, they just throw a container ship worth of cash at you.
Yep.
Where
you can't say no.
College, there's a lot more rules about how they pay you, when they pay you, when you get raises. Then you got to deal with athletic directors and presidents and board of regents or trustees, and there's just so much other.
And people don't understand that. Let me hit two things real quick. Let's take Small Town Republic because I think you kind of hit it. Hey, your Muslim uncle, welcome. Hey, let's go hockey. Maybe one day you'll have to come on if I talk hockey.
Let's go.
Y'all want to talk hockey sometime?
I'm always down to talk hockey. Okay, I need to pay more attention because I've been out of the loop.
I'll get back. Well, we'll do that another time, and I'm always looking for sports ideas, so I'll get back to you. But your Muslim uncle, you might get drafted, so be ready. But Small Town Republic, Lane Kiffin, who I call Lane Kitten because of the people around the Jaguars. How serious do you think this could be? We also saw him flirting with Auburn last year. I don't think Alabama would want him. He's brash. He's arrogant. Not that, that his style does not fit an Alabama blue blood pedigree to me for the football style.
I mean,
that's why I don't think he would do it.
When you tell me Alabama, I think brash and arrogance. It sounds like a great fit.
Yeah, but I think they want somebody that off the field doesn't raise too much trouble for them. A good old boy kind of sense about him. That's what I picture Alabama going for.
That's what there's an image. It's an image.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to go with Lane Kiffin just for that reason. But they can pick whoever they want.
I think it's going to be the pinky up thing. I just think that it's the country club, thing. It's kind of like Caddyshack, They're the Underhills or the Underwoods and stuff. They want that type of stuff shirt. That they don't want the nice Commodore guy out there. So I that's what I believe. Could be wrong, but you never know. Because look at recruiting. Then you get Lane Kiffin at Alabama. So
they could always make me extremely happy and recruit Lou Holtz.
There you go. So Whoopa, you think that it could be a possible thing?
I think it's possible mostly because Lane Kiffin seems like he's basically just advertising to the world that he's ready to jump ship whenever.
Yeah.
But I was going to say that Dan Lanning seems to be one of the guys who might take the jump. Another interesting thing, and I think this would be a crappy signing, but you never know.
And hello to my wife, by the way. Hello, Mrs. Dadman Walking, and hi to Sci-Fi Mombi. Sorry, guys.
There was an interesting tweet. People were basically saying, "Hey, here's these big head coaching hires, and here's the buyout that Alabama would have to pay to get that coach to them." And they made a tweet. I think they had Lanning. They had Dabo. Is it Dabo Sweeney? I forget how to say his name. Dabo Sweeney and some other guys. And within like 4 minutes, they edited it to include James Franklin, almost as if someone contacted someone to say like, "Hey, you should include my." Which I think is silly. I think that would be a bad hire.
Here
State is only good.
I think that might be a good hire. The problem I have with this is because promoting the next guy in the organization usually never works. I think Franklin would be a good fit because look at what he did at Vanderbilt. Look at his style. I think James Franklin is a nice name to watch there. I had not thought about it till you just mentioned it because I think he would fit in with the Alabama pedigree. He has success in the SEC. I mean, at Vanderbilt of all places. So, I mean, but who knows? So it'll be fun to watch this situation. So
I have an outside pick for it, though.
Okay.
I think the Arizona coach, Kenny Dillingham, he's really young, but I just, yeah.
Okay. Well, anybody else out there, Small Time Republic, do you have an outside candidate? Do you have a possible one?
Not him.
And hi, Jess.
Wrong coach. That was the Arizona State coach.
Hi, Jess. How are you doing? Good to see you tonight. Yeah, I'm still stuck. You're not talking
Jed
about
Fish. Sorry.
Oh, Jed Fish. Oh my God, Jed Fish was an old Jaguars coordinator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was thinking Jed Fish.
You could get me. As you can see, I'm available. I'm willing to apply for the position.
I'll do it for $250,000.
I'll do it for cheap. That's why I always say every time you see like a coach do really bad, it's like, listen, I'll be a bad coach for half that money.
Exactly. I'd do it for 1/10 of what these guys make. And I wouldn't necessarily have you a buyout, buddy. So, all right. So, by the way, also everybody catch out Mrs. Morning shows too. Today the thing was chocolate with the poll. So I guess there's a ruby chocolate. Wow, that's interesting. We got 10 people here with us tonight watching us. So, hey, folks, let's go ahead. We're 11 now. So let's go ahead. We talked about the job opening at Alabama now. So let's go ahead and start talking some NFL playoffs, shall we? We do have a couple people that might join us soon. And but let's go ahead and take a look at the overall situation of the week of games, and then we can expand from there. We also take a look at the current job openings in NFL. Like, oh my gosh, like a quarter, at least almost a quarter of the league jobs are open. But here, let's start with the playoff look that we have here. Oh gosh, Masters comes in. Hey, Masters, jet fish. I've heard about flying fishes, but jetpacks. No, Jed, like Jed Clampett. Jed Clampett. But hey, good to see you, my friends, tonight. We got 11 people here for a sports show. I am thrilled, guys. All right. Enough of me babbling. I got two great experts here, JT and Whoopa Troopa. And Sci-Fi Mambi's on the way. So, hey, wait till they get there, and I'm outnumbered with these great people on this panel. So here's the matchups this week. It starts on Saturday with Cleveland playing at Houston. Houston got its way into the playoffs because the incompetent Jags went from 8-3 to only winning one more game, including on the road this week, who JT Kirk called because they will always lose to Tennessee, no matter how bad Tennessee is. And now there are riots in Jacksonville about the quarterback and everybody after their heist ending last year. But now Houston comes in, hosts a game on NBC at 4:30. The night game on Saturday is the Miami Dolphins at the Kansas City Chiefs on Peacock. Now, that was something our friend Clobberin Times had mentioned the other night. We were on Mark's show on Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Peacock.
Yeah.
They've taken an NFL game, playoff game, and putting it on a streaming service.
Well, Peacock is NBC, which is owned by, was it NBC Universal? So Comcast. And they've been bundling Peacock for free or at a low price. I think they started finally charging for it in your cable TV package. Mm-hmm. So I think they're really trying to push Peacock there. And it wouldn't surprise me if they sat around in the boardroom and said, which one of these games do we have control over that we can throw on Peacock so that way our streaming numbers look really good for investors? I don't have inside knowledge on that, but it would not surprise me. And they said, well, Taylor Swift versus Miami. So let's throw that one on our Peacock and we'll see our numbers go through the roof.
Exactly. Yep. I do have to say this real quick, though. Small Town Republic. If your last name is Fish, then your first name shouldn't rhyme with dead. Exactly.
That's a very good point.
Yeah,
exactly.
And for that reason, I don't think he's qualified for the job.
Look at this. Look at this, though.
If that's true, wow.
$110 million to get that game on Peacock.
Ooh.
And, that might end up being a mistake. Dadman and I had talked a little bit right before the show back in the green room. He started joking about what I was going to look at, and you can see There's a column there called tickets, and I don't know if those prices are accurate, but they're accurate to each other. $66 is the lowest starting price for any of the games.
Hey, Whoopa, Sci-Fi Mambi, y'all might be able to pick up some good tickets. Well, that's part of the state.
Did you see what the temperature is? The projected temperature for that game?
AccuWeather.
No, what is the projected
on mine
temperature?
It's showing, Dadman, AccuWeather is -1 degree.
Yep.
In Kansas City.
It was
Sunday.
actually 0 when I checked, but I guess it went down 1. But it's going to be
that's shorts weather, guys. So it's no big deal.
No, there's a storm coming through around here because we're going to get snow on Friday as well.
Fishes, peacocks, what is here? Shopping plan for Gordon Ramsay's. Yeah.
But inclement weather can really ruin your playbook.
Yep.
If your quarterback can't do anything, and the Chiefs have proved nothing else that they need Mahomes to be like, Super Bowl MVP for them to have any chance at winning a game every single time. I drew up a couple brackets. Both times I said Dolphins because I have no faith that the Chiefs can pull this off. And that tells you if their home ticket prices are that cheap, the stadium is big. It's not that big, folks.
Yep. And hell to Admiral Teague coming in. Hell to you, sir. Teague. Our resident Jets fan. Now, your Sci-Fi Mambi is, I think, working on something. She tried to get in here for a second. We'll get her opinion on it because, like you said, $66. So we've actually had 15 people watching. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Hey, folks, thanks for coming in for a great sports. You got great panelists tonight. Feel free to share your thoughts and opinions with us tonight. So let's go ahead and do the other matchups, though, and then we'll look at them a little more specifically. On Sunday, we have 3 games. Pittsburgh at Buffalo in the early game, or I call them Beefalo, as a friend of mine calls them. Who knows what that game? That game looks pretty ugly. But then Green Bay at Dallas. Go Cowboys, 4:30 on Fox, followed by LA and Detroit at 8 p.m. on NBC for the night game on Sunday night. And let me see, let's see. All right, Sci-Fi Mambi's here. Hello.
I'm finally home.
Yay. Welcome. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Yeah, I heard you, JT. You're absolutely correct because we are not used to playing in frigid temperatures. Yeah. And Mahomes' behavior this year.
I don't know if the Dolphins are going to do any better with that, to tell you the truth.
I don't think they are.
This is the thing, too. So they were talking about in, I think, his entire career, because Tua was, like, including high school, there's Tua. This will be the second cold weather, second game below freezing that Tua has ever played in his entire career, which is not a great sign.
Not great.
And if you're wondering, he did lose that game that he played.
But I will tell you, it's you got to be. You can look at some trends, but I remember in '96 when the Jaguars went up to both Buffalo in the sub-frigid temperatures and then on the road in Denver, and actually won games in both places with a lot of people that may not have played in those temperatures, coming from the southern climate. But then again, Mark Brunell was the quarterback. He played at Washington, so he had seen his share of cold weather. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do. Maybe no snowplow incidents, like there were years ago against the Patriots. So let me and then we'll finish the matchups, then we'll get into the game specifically. Why the hell on a Monday night?
Texans, don't forget that Saturday.
Yeah. I did mention that first.
Oh, you did? My bad.
But what the hell are we playing playoff games on Monday night?
I know, isn't that bizarre?
Isn't it supposed to be everybody have equal rest time and stuff? But on Monday at 8:15, Philadelphia is at Tampa Bay. I mean,
is it because they crammed in an extra team last year or this year that they had to push them to Monday night?
No, it's just because more days equals more money you can charge this.
That is
really all it is.
The only reason.
There's no point, because traditionally you play them Saturday and Sunday, and the teams that play on Saturday play the next Saturday. You try to keep it where everybody has the same amount of rest until that last conference championship game. But it's really bizarre why you would do that in this case.
No,
I mean, well, it's not, but
You also notice that Sunday has a 1, a 4:30, and an 8 on the East Coast, but Saturday only has a 4:30 and an 8. Yet you put 2 East Coast teams starting all the way at 8:15 p.m. on a Monday when you could have put them Monday on a Saturday. But they didn't want to do that. So.
Nope. I tell you, I bet you a lot of it's at that Philadelphia viewing market too. So, I mean, but look also, you got the Cowboys at 4:30 on Sunday, which is normally the time of the national game of the week on Sundays. We don't see
Packers
Detroit.
Cowboys. That's an iconic matchup, I think, but
still, it's a down Green Bay team. I mean, it's not like Detroit or Buffalo got that spot. And then
if you go by general interest in their own matchup, though, the next lowest ticket price is Cowboys Packers, and then right behind them is Eagles Bucks. So
it's not the Rams Lions. Just kidding.
Well, no, actually, JT, go ahead and take this opportunity to talk about. JT, go ahead and talk about that since you right there.
The game that you really want to watch this coming week, and it's not because I'm hometown on one of these teams. The one with all the interest and all the vibe, that's going to have a vibrant home game. It's going to be nuts there. I mean, just nuts. LA Rams versus Detroit Lions. $396 is the starting price for the ticket. Just about, 2 to 3 times higher than the next highest, which is Steelers Bills.
Well, let me interrupt here real quick because we have another guest tonight. Let's introduce to the stage my partner through the NFL playoffs last year, and hope he can join us as much as possible. But he's one of the busiest men on YouTube anywhere. It's great, Clobber Times. Hey, Clobby.
Hey.
How are you tonight?
Well, my friends. Hey there. Good to see you.
Hello.
Bang the dogs together.
We got JT Kirk.
Sorry to be got a few minutes to pop in. It's been busy tonight.
Well, we got JT Kirk. I think you probably met Whoopa Troop. I'm not sure if you met Sci-Fi Mombi,
I don't think so. Sci-Fi Mombi, hello there.
Hello.
To meet you.
I kind of lurk in and out of your streams, but I really enjoy the content.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's wonderful to meet you. I mean, the guys are okay, but let's face it, it's always better to meet ladies.
Exactly. I had to get some grace and elegance and class to this crew. So, we bring the ladies in for that. So
we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Clobby, I know you have limited time. We talked about the matchup. Saturday, Cleveland, Houston, Miami, Kansas City. Sunday, 3 games. Pittsburgh at Buffalo, Green Bay at Dallas, LA, Detroit. And then on Monday night game, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay. We talked about the Peacock that you pointed out the other night, and then of course a Monday night game. What are your thoughts with the matchups with the field that's set? Or what I'll throw it to you. What do you want to say about what we have to work with first week?
First of all, I was able to listen before I was able to get back on here, and I would agree with everyone. It's absolutely preposterous that the NFL would do something stupid. Is having a game that is not a playoff game, not national. It's idiotic. With that peacock thing, I just hate it. I think they're idiots, and it's going to blow up in their face.
I totally agree.
Now, from what I understand, the local, if you're one of the local fans, it will be on normal television, like in Miami and in Kansas City. But that doesn't mean crap. I mean, a lot of people still have.
Well, it'll be good for them because it's supposed to be -1 at games.
Well, and unfortunately, I'm in Southwest Missouri, and our NBC affiliate has been getting hate calls because they can't broadcast the Chiefs game.
It's not their fault.
You're kidding.
Exactly. I mean, they were on morning news this morning saying, guys, quit calling. We can't do anything about it.
Yes, it's NBC and it's the NFL.
Yeah,
absolutely stupid.
I have Peacock, so I'm going to get to see it, but and you're not supposed to share, but I've been sharing it with my dad.
Yeah. I think I can watch it on my NFL app.
I just think it's so asinine that they did that. That is just.
Oh yeah. But by the way, in case any of you don't know and you do want to watch it, I think you can watch it if you have the NFL app. I think.
Well, one thing that Small Time Republic told us earlier, he and Small Time Republic had said NBC reportedly had paid $110 million to get that game on Peacock.
Let them choke on it.
For Taylor Swift.
Geez.
Idiots.
It was a Taylor Swift
for
concert.
Taylor Swift.
There you go.
I mean, this is probably the cheapest you could ever see Taylor Swift is $66 starting ticket price.
I don't know. She overtook our movie theaters a while back.
Or $5.99 a month for Peacock, $6.99. with ads.
As far as the games go, and I'm not just saying this from my boy JT, but I am a Detroit Lions bandwagoner for these playoffs.
Well, thank you, sir.
Even if I were not, though, just from a pure NFL. There you go. Sorry, my alarm going off for the show. Even if I were not, however, JT, this is the most fascinating game of the weekend, with all the ramifications like the Stafford versus Goff and all that other stuff, whose numbers are, since they swapped teams, are almost identical, which are really weird. Right. I mean, almost they're close to identical if you look at them since they switched teams, except for one Super Bowl win. But
the funny thing is, everybody here, I mean, if you've been going to Lions games, you have a Stafford jersey, and there are bars and restaurants downtown saying you're not welcome in our establishment if you're wearing number 9.
Serious stuff. I don't blame them. This is like the
that's what you gotta do.
The new Bobby Lane curse all over again.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, Rams are red hot right now. And the Lions, of course, have got everything to play for, so much on the line. From a sheer a drama standpoint, that's the biggest, the best, the greatest of the matchups this week. And I don't know if there was anything in the playoffs after this will even come close to, at least on paper, what it looks like it should be. Now, that doesn't never dictates the outcome, but both teams are going to be up for this big, especially, of course, Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the historical matchups that on paper with names that looks really good is the Green Bay Dallas game at 4:30. It's got that sort of day prime time, great normal national time for viewing on Sundays. But the cheap ticket prices, it looks like they're, the big game question to me, and I agree with what y'all said about Detroit being the game. You want them to win all. This game, though, I'm as a Cowboy fan, I'm waiting for Green Bay to beat them again. Will Dak Prescott win a game at home in the playoffs? It's not an Aaron Rodgers
Green Bay. It's not a Brett Favre Green Bay.
But it does not matter. You got Dak Prescott in the playoffs. It's a home game.
And it's Jerry Jones, who will never probably ever win anything ever again until that franchise until he's right. His deal with the devil ended in 3 Super Bowl wins.
Now, Clobby, I have to say, it should have been Saints Cowboys on this. I don't think the Packers should have been there. I don't think they earned it. The Packers are a crap team. I really thought the Saints should have made it past last weekend.
Dropped too many games, though. They deserve to lose that sucker because they dropped too many damn games. Anytime you have to back in and need somebody to win, it's never a good karma. I mean, the weirdest stat for my garbage Saints is that did you know Derek Carr it had the best. I don't know if you look at his numbers; they're pretty pedestrian this year. This will tell you something about the New Orleans Saints history. Has the best year of any quarterback not named Drew Brees in New Orleans Saints history. That's how bad quarterbacking has been here before Drew Brees. I loved Archie Manning, but he had no blocking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at it. Who's got like 20? Look at the numbers; they're okay, but they're nothing to write home about. And yet, the 16 years or 17 that we had Drew Brees, we were spoiled rotten. And I've been telling fans of that year, look. When Drew's gone, when number 9's gone, you better get used to coming back down to earth because it's over. Yep. Even in a lower season, he still had you in every game, and that ain't going to happen. When he's gone, get used to losing for another 30 or 40 years.
Well, and the Patriots are finding that one out too, but
everyone does. Dude, you know how many teams have 20 to 30 to 40-year blocks in their history where they didn't even win a playoff game? There's not just the Lions or the Saints and the Browns. Mm-hmm. There are a few others too. Like the Steelers Jets. Took 40 years to even win a playoff game until they started dominating the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now, were you telling me, we were talking fight songs earlier. JT was telling me that the Detroit has a fight song, but did you tell me that Miami stole theirs from Houston. The original Houston?
Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers. Yes, sir. They sure did swipe that sucker. Miami Dolphins.
Oh my gosh! So, Clobby, do you think that Dallas could choke up in this game with Green Bay? I mean, possibly.
Yes, I think they really could, but I don't think they're going to. So it could, because Green Bay seems a little, seems like they have kind of a hot hand right now. But I think I'm not saying Dallas is going to go far, but I think they'll take this one. Okay, that's still a very young team on the road. That Green Bay team, they're young, and Dallas really does have a very steady, very, very good defense. So yeah. I don't think Dallas is going to have a lot of trouble with them.
Okay. All right.
And Dallas has not lost at home this year either.
Yeah.
So they have that going for them. They do well at home. Very well
which
at
is
home.
which is a change for them. Some years that they have not been so bad. So, Clubby, the Saturday games: Cleveland, Houston, Miami, Kansas City. They told me earlier about the weather forecast in Kansas City, like almost zero bad weather and stuff. Any thoughts on the Saturday games? I mean, both are in the AFC.
Yeah, I like Cleveland to go in and actually win in the squeaker in Houston, and Miami has very little shot. As up and down as KC is, they're not a weather team that much, and they have. Look at the injuries. Who they have? Do they have anybody starting? I mean, they are decimated right now. Are they not?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I couldn't even name you one. That's how bad it is.
They're bad off in injuries, and they were pretty powerful in the first half of the season. And they're scrappy, but I just can't see them, beating the Kansas City Taylor Swifts.
All right, so you got Kansas City and the Taylor Swifts though, and
that's the new. You guys didn't hear about that? It was just announced last night. They're now the Kansas City Swifts.
Okay, there you go.
Oh Lord, my daughter is only watching football right now because Taylor keeps showing up on TV.
Well, JT, Mombi, and Lupa, I'll hold off on y'all's picks. I was going to get Clobby's first with these, but because we'll talk a little bit more about them. But Clobby's got Cleveland and Kansas City straight up with this.
Yes,
we don't do points around here. We just do straight up winners. So the Sunday games, Clobby, Pittsburgh's at Buffalo. Any thoughts on that one, or is it just kind of a bad get out of the way matchup?
I'm picking my upside of the week. Buffalo goes and wins because Pittsburgh wins at Buffalo because Rudolph's playing pretty well, and I think what's his face cannot stop throwing interceptions. I don't know. I like Ross Allen, but they are a turnover. They're a bakery right now, Buffalo.
Yeah,
there's still a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, somehow they managed to win the division and get a home game, but yeah.
I don't know. I don't like Pittsburgh much, but I think they could win. There's going to be a road upset.
Yeah,
usually that many
games. You said that last year. And one
time I was wrong. They were all road wins.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, you said, and it's true. Every year there's at least one.
I do say that every year. Though. In wild card week, usually there's at least one.
Yep, exactly. After that, it gets more home field advantage. But all right, Green Bay at Dallas. How do you? I mean, any? We talked about a little bit.
Dallas big.
Dallas big. Okay, with that one. So, all right, and then LA at Detroit.
Oh boy.
This is a good one though. I mean, it's exciting. We got Detroit that starts at home. Matthew Stafford returns to Detroit. The former Georgia quarterback who never won anything in Georgia, but then he got lucky in LA, I guess. So, how do you see this game matching up with this 8:00 national television game?
They're kind of red hot night. The Rams are kind of. I hate the Crams. I hate them. They're kind of red hot right now, and they have some great wide receivers. And it's going to make this one tough, but I have a feeling that Detroit's going to rise to this and win in maybe even overtime. It's going to be brutal for my boy JT. He's going to need a lot of whatever gets him through a game. I don't know. We've never talked about it, so I don't know what kind of snacks or if he
I've already been taking garlic to get the blood pressure low days ahead.
Yeah, so what kind of breakables you have near to break things and stuff because we all need that.
I have to send my kids to their rooms just fourth quarter. You got to stay in there for a while.
Good feeling about the Lions, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if Stafford's got he's got a lot of talent to throw the football to.
Yeah,
Clobby, everybody in this town is such a basket case because we haven't been to the playoffs since '93. That it's you want them to win, but you can't even objectively view the game for what it is. And that Stafford returning story, it just. Yeah.
Now let me. So, Clobby, did you pick one, or are you still?
Yeah, Detroit. I'm picking them.
Yeah, but it could go the other way. Well, see, okay, let's say best case scenario, JT, it wins. Well, I remember when the Detroit Pistons won NBA titles and the celebrations tonight. Would this possibly be a cause of community celebrations to occur just by winning this one game? Up there,
they'll go nuts.
They'll go nuts. I don't think you'll see destruction or any overzealous celebration, but you'll definitely see people out there celebrating because we've won nothing since Barry Sanders. One playoff game in my entire life.
Right. So many it's so many news lines with it. Okay. So then on Monday night, Clobby, what we've determined was the NFL's cash grab for having a Monday night primetime game at day 15. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. How do you see this game going?
My other road victory this week because of Tampa, they don't have a lot. They should. I mean, they barely squeaked by the Panthers. They had some okay football early on, then they couldn't even take care of the Saints and the Panthers. So Philly's got for all their problems, their defense is going to be too much for Tampa Bay.
Right. Sometimes in the playoffs, your defense will carry you when your offense is struggling. Unless you're San Francisco last year when you ended up not having a quarterback on the roster and played with a running back that was horrible. I remember we talked about that last year, Clobby, how that ruined a beautiful season for the Niners.
Yep, it did. It's a shame.
So, all right. Well,
I was at that Lions-Bucks game real quick. Bucks looked just trash. I don't think the Eagles are going to have a problem either.
Well, see, that makes me wonder, is it Baker Mayfield or is it more than him? Because there's always been the debate about Kyle Trask. They drafted Trask out of Florida second or third round, but they keep saying he's not ready or whatever the excuse is. It's like, is it?
Baker was real hurt. You could see in that game he was limping around. I don't know if it was bad enough that he's going to be hurt for this game or not, but in that last game, he was just banged up and trying to play because playoffs on the line. But
true.
Yeah, it's just the debate has been, the whole point about can Kyle Trask be an NFL quarterback, but they bring Baker Mayfield in, so Trask is still on the bench after 2 or 3 seasons. At what point do you give the backup a shot in the season if the offense is struggling, But that's a running debate everybody has when you have a quarterback and an offense is struggling.
Yepper. Didn't he have Baker had a lot of drops though too? I think he's had a dropsy problem with his receivers.
Yeah, that happens with a lot of people. I know that. I think the Jaguars. That's one of the problems with the Jaguars.
Oh, good Lord, they have dropsies. They're the worst.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this: Jacksonville's in a city. I mean, there's a lot of unhappiness. One, the GM. A lot of people want the GM gone because he didn't improve the roster from last year. Lawrence looks like he's regressing.
He does.
They're still back to we need offensive line, we need pass rush. The same problems that have been here for the last 5 to 10 years are the same thing that they see. And it's like you would have thought after last year, this year would have been the year you go out, make a splash, and you improve it. But they didn't. They regressed. And as we saw, the last game of the season on the road at Tennessee, JT called it, and like I had previewed, the one year that the Jaguars were 14-2 in the regular season and then lost at home in the playoffs. All 3 losses that year for the Jaguars were to the Tennessee Titans, 2 here in Jacksonville. So that the point that Steve Fisher called it Jacksonville basically another home game for Tennessee. So
Jesus,
that's how bad it was. So, oh my goodness.
Wow.
I know. Well, Clobby, I'm glad you were able to come in and it was stay as long as you were able to.
I wish I could have stayed longer. Like I said, I got to go get ready for the show and everything, man.
I know. I appreciate the few minutes. Do you have any other thoughts? Real quick, did you know that there's 7 coaching vacancies now in the NFL?
Yeah, I've already been in contact by a couple of teams.
Oh, good.
I haven't made a decision yet. I think it's if you have any suggestions on which team I should probably sign with,
Well, we did have a bidding war for that vacant Alabama job. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I've already talked to them. I don't want college football. I'm no good with that. I want to go.
Well, I'm good. Whoopa and I are trying to undercut each other. We're trying to be who the lowest salary is for Alabama. But
I'm just mad that the Saints we're not getting rid of our freaking coach.
Yeah, exactly. Well, real quick, I know it's college, but have you had a chance to hear anything over there where you are about Saban retiring? Has it made a splash?
No, I just heard you guys talking about it tonight.
Okay.
I haven't really seen much about it today. I can tell you that it's one of those things I'll believe it when I see it. That's a big. I don't know, man. We don't like Saban down here.
Yeah. I know
I
y'all
don't
don't.
think anyone here on this show does.
Do they like, who do they like less, Saban or well, no, never mind.
There's no one they like less than they hate Saban the most. Not me so much, but they do. I mean,
no, I know.
LSU fans are they're just really, to be honest, as bad as all college fans or even pro fans. They're just fans.
I mean, doesn't he have a retirement plan with Aflac?
Yes.
Yes, Aflac. He does.
Oh my god. Exactly.
You don't think he's hurting for money, do you?
Oh no, God.
I think he's probably doing okay for himself. What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
In that stopgap coverage, you know.
That is awesome.
I know too much about insurance. Okay, anyways.
But then again, thank you again, Clobby, for swinging by.
Thank you so much, everybody.
I hope for the next few weeks, when we're not going to be doing one, that we'll go through the Super Bowl here on Wednesdays. And like I said, as often as you're able to swing by, I'd love to have you jump in with us for even a few minutes as you can, because I know you're a great resident.
Some Wednesdays, I love talking to him in NFL. Some Wednesdays, Loki doesn't do one at all. It's just when he's having some, but he does it like we don't know till like earlier in that day whether he's doing it or not. But I'm committed. But when he's not, dude, I'll pop in.
Absolutely.
So, we shouldn't have to go get ready for this one now.
Nope. No, you got to go take care of your thing, and we're going to send people over your way when we're done. So hey,
you guys are lucky. You get to talk football. If I talk football, I get hammered over there.
I know, a brutal crowd. It's like, hey, well, look, I mean, it's like I'm trying to do some of the sci-fi, but hey, it's good.
Yeah, you got to watch it.
I know. But Claudia, thank you again for the few minutes tonight. We appreciate your feedback and all your inputs. And great. Everybody, that's the great Clobbering Times. Make sure you're subscribed to his channel too. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great show, Clobby.
Thank you all.
And definitely a place to go if you like your Star Trek. So, absolutely. So,
and Doctor Who and all kinds of good fun. Anyway.
All righty. So, JT, can you put Clobby's channel link in there for me, please?
I certainly can.
All righty. So, thank y'all. All right. All right, so now we're back to any Whoopa sci-fi. Well, sci-fi Mombi, let you talk for a while. The guys have talked. Clobby came in. Let's let you talk. What about this weekend slate of games? I mean, obviously you're a Kansas City fan, and I know you're dying to go sit out in that nice warm temperature. But
yeah, balmy.
Outside, well, Miami's coming there. It's got to be balmy, but outside of the Kansas City Miami match, what are the matchups really intrigue you?
The Rams and the Lions game, because my 23-year-old has been hammering it in my head this week that the Rams are going to win. I think the Lions. I told him don't count the Lions out. He's like, "Oh, Mom, you're just blowing smoke." I'm like, "No, I'm not either." He's a kid, you know.
Of course.
I'm gonna say, between the Browns and the Texans, I think it's going to be the Browns.
Okay.
I really want it. Yeah.
All right. Well, and we'll get to the picks. We'll get to our picks in a second. But in terms of matchups, that Cleveland Houston game is one that I think is going to be Houston just won a division based on the Jaguars' incompetence. They do have a good young quarterback that's kind of hot, but they've struggled off and on this season. But no, Joe Flacco, though, the guy that will never age, I guess, for Cleveland, who knows what will happen with this? I mean, a lot of the signs point towards Cleveland. I don't know. I think it's really, personally, I don't really like any of the matchups except for Dallas, Green Bay, and LA, Detroit. All the other ones are just kind of, I mean, Pittsburgh, Buffalo could be a competitive match, but I don't like either team. Oh, go ahead, Whoopa. Go ahead, Whoopa.
Buffalo's going to beat Pittsburgh by 4 scores. That's my prediction.
Oh, wow.
I believe that too.
Buffalo's missing TJ Watt, Mason Rudolph. For some reason, so I don't really follow, but I get suggested stuff because I have Najee Harris on my fantasy team, which he decides to have his best week this week when there's no more fantasy. They're real nice of him. But like, people were saying how bad Kenny Pickett has been all season. And then for some reason, Mason Rudolph does genuinely the same exact thing. they beat Baltimore by the same score that Kenny Pickett won, except Kenny Pickett had more passing yards. But for some reason, and also Kenny Pickett was playing the starters while Baltimore had all of their backups in. And back, way back when, week 4, the running game for the Steelers sucked, and I think they had like 70 yards on like 20 carries between the two of them. This week they had more rushing yards than passing yards, but for some reason there's people out there saying Mason Rudolph is the MVP of the Steelers season for basically doing nothing that anyone else could have done, because he won, but it's not like he's the reason they're winning. And now they've got Najee banged up, which he's been the reason they've been good lately. He's been rushing really well, and the team's been rushing really well. And TJ Watt is out, which TJ Watt is easily the most important player on that team. And Buffalo, I know that they've had issues with turnovers. It's not like they're a perfect team, but excuse me. They've been playing really well lately. They've been they've beat some good teams. I don't think, they've won all 5 of their last games, and 3 of those 5 wins were against teams that are in the playoffs right now. I don't think the Steelers have a chance. I don't see why people are hyping them up because they squeaked by a win versus, the Ravens backups. It's silly. To me personally, but that's what I'm going with. That was my random aside. I just wanted to say that.
Yep. Okay. Man. So, any other matchups that you really like, Sci-Fi Mombi, this week?
Not really.
Not really. I know.
Not really.
And
for my own team, it's theirs to lose. That's all I'm going to tell them.
Very
Get your
true.
act together.
Very true.
It's like JT and I've talked about in some of the college weeks is that sometimes your college plays a team that you're like, you better win it. There's no such thing as a close game. You better win it big time, or otherwise we're not going to be happy.
Story of my life here at Missouri State.
Exactly. So, but yeah, it's good. Whoopa, any other games that you think that are jumping out at you tonight?
The Rams Lions is going to be. I assume it's going to be interesting. I'm going to tune in. And I think Packers Cowboys could be interesting. I don't know. That's a team. I don't know if they will be. It really depends on if the Cowboys decide to show up or not. I'm sure you agree, Dadman.
I agree.
I think the 2 biggest games are going to be the first one and the last one. Browns versus Texans. First of all, I'm manifesting. We've got the Stafford return to Detroit this week. And what I want next week is the Flacco return to Baltimore. And I think the Browns defense is crazy good. We knew that. The problem was their offense, the whole time.
Right.
And their offense, they beat the Texans in Texas 3 weeks ago, and they put up 36 on them. Flacco, fun fact, Flacco, no Browns. The Browns have never had a season before where they had 4 games with 300 passing yards. And Flacco had 4 games in a row where he had 300 passing yards. That's
wow. It's because they held him back in Baltimore. It's like they wouldn't let him throw the football.
It's interesting. I'm confused why he's suddenly doing this. But he's been, and this offense, before they benched everyone last week, they won 4 of their 5. And they won 4 in a row, and 3 of those games they scored 30 points. Suddenly something's clicking, and their offense, we know their defense is good. It's been good all year. The fact that suddenly their offense is capable of scoring and putting up big numbers is pretty crazy. And I think the Browns are going to win. I think it could be a good game just because the Texans play an exciting brand of football at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, okay, let's go through the order. Then let's take it that way. So you've got the Browns over Cleveland. You got the Browns over Houston, then, correct?
Yep.
All right. So JT, how do you see that matchup then?
Sorry, which one was it again?
Cleveland at Houston.
Okay, thanks. Because I was thinking Eagles Bucks in my mind. It's just that I really want the Browns to win. The underdog thing. That's more of an emotional consideration on it, though. I think the Texans will probably end up winning. The Browns are just not very good on the road. I know the Texans kind of backed into this one. I just, there's something about it. I'm going purely on feel here. I know Whoopa had a lot of good numbers.
Hey, stunning like turtles. But go ahead.
His feel of it. Yeah, I just don't think the Browns are going to be able to do it. In prime time when they really need to do it. I just don't think so.
Doubting the Joe Flacco hype train over here. I see.
Oh no, listen to that.
Yeah.
Listen, doubting Joe Flacco. Jeez. All
the
right.
Elite quarterback, Joe Flacco.
He's got Houston at home. Sci-Fi Mombi, how do you see this game?
Oh man, I still think it's going to be the Browns, but
okay.
I guess I'm too optimistic. So both teams won it. I mean,
Yeah, Stunning it likes turtles, and he's eating a big ass cookie. So hey, there you go. And yes, JT, did you bring it up to share? Yes, exactly. Well, speaking of that, I've got something to show you after we talk about the next game. In this one, I'm on the Flacco train here. Cleveland turned the season around big time with him taking over. So it tells you that they had. Imagine if they still had Nick Chubb, a healthy Nick Chubb with this team. So I've got Cleveland going in Houston. Houston's had a surprisingly good year after a huge down year. They've gotten great play out of their rookie quarterback from the Ohio State University, but I think it ends. They backed into a division title and a playoff appearance because of a very incompetent Jaguar team. I think Cleveland's got too much on this. So, but then again, I'll say that if Houston does win this game, watch them to win it next week. Teams that come in limping or unexpectedly sometimes get hot in the playoffs. So, all right. So then we move to the Miami at Kansas City game, the 4:30 game on Saturday. The 8:00 game on Saturday night on Peacock. All right, Sci-Fi Mombi, have at it. You go first about your wonderful Chiefs. We'll let you go with the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, they're my choice. I mean, the Dolphins are not bad. They're not bad. But either team is not used to the frigid temperatures that are coming in. They've got Kelsey's number. It seems like the past few weeks, Kelsey's just been at a standstill. They need to just, and we all say this all the time as Chiefs fans, you can't use Kelsey all the time. Distribute it out. And I'm forgetting the kid's name. They're using right now.
They've had real problems, though.
Is it Kadarius Toney you're talking about? Are you talking about Kadarius Toney, though?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's a former Gator. But see, all I know is Kelsey beat the crap out of the Jaguars repeatedly last year. So it was like, so it's hard to go to him.
But it's like all the other teams have been watching the film footage.
Yeah.
So they know how to corner him. And he's also distracted.
Right.
Because his girlfriend's in the stands. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how much of this circus has come in? And, you wonder about the locker room. We've had reports about Mahomes shouting and screaming at players on the sideline all the time. He had to melt down against the officials when they made the right call, things like that. I mean, is the fan base kind of concerned with, all these seeming distractions?
Because he seems like he's had his, cool for a very long time. And now that he's losing, he's not keeping his composure, and that's kind of bizarre, for him. So is there something going on at home? Is there
Mhm.
something else we don't know about? Because he's a pretty good guy. I mean, he really tries his best to not take additional money to keep good players on.
Yep.
So I don't know.
And JT, I'm sorry, you were going to try to say something a minute ago.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you can't throw it to Kelsey every time, but KC is maybe they moved to the second spot, but for many, many weeks, they were the number one team with drop passes. So,
yes.
I mean, Mahomes has been throwing it, hitting them right in the numbers, and then they just say, "Oh, I don't want to get my paycheck today."
Hi, Corey.
I
I got to say hi to Corey real quick. And Stunny wants to date Taylor Swift so he can make a song about him after I dump her. Oh, wait, Nicki Minaj already did a song about him. By the way, folks, we have 11 people waiting here. If y'all hold out, I've got an announcement near the end of the show. So I hope y'all stay with us. Special programming alert coming up. All right. So, Whoopa, any thoughts on this Kansas City game or not?
Here's my thoughts. Dolphins. Do you know how many games the Dolphins have played against teams with a winning record?
4.
That was 6.
Wow.
Do you know what their record in those games was?
Against the teams that with winning records?
Yes.
It was 6, probably 1-5.
Yep, that's correct.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
So
okay.
the Dolphins are the king of beating up bad teams. We already saw one of those losses was in Germany versus Kansas City. I know it's a slightly different situation. At the same time, I would think Germany versus at home in Kansas City below 0 is probably a worse scenario for the Dolphins. Right. I'm looking at their injury report. Waddle's questionable. Tyreek Hill's questionable. A-Chain's questionable. Mostert's questionable. I'm sure they're all play, but the fact that they're all banged up, and I mean, the only people I'm seeing that are hurt for Kansas City that haven't been hurt like most of the season are Kadarius Toney, which that might help them, honestly.
So he's not hurt this time?
No, it says he's questionable, but I'm saying maybe it'll help.
He's always had injury problems at times, but he turns out to play at game time. So
I know Pacheco is like fully cleared. I think that's going to help.
Then he ends up hurting himself more.
Yeah.
So are we all going to say that Kansas City wins this game?
I think I'm taking the Chiefs. I
Go
think it should be a pretty good, easy Chiefs win personally.
JT? Or are you going to take the Dolphins? Hey,
I'm going to take the Dolphins.
All right. All right.
I hear everything everyone's saying. I think the weather is going to come in. It's going to hurt both teams, but Mahomes and Kelsey run that offense. And if Mahomes can't be as an effective passer because you're getting sleet or snow on the ground and the receivers can't run their routes right, it's going to be an even bigger disaster for them. And I think the Dolphins will find it in them.
And the Tua probably is recognized as the better running of the quarterbacks, I think. So it's it'll be interesting to see what happens. So, all right, JT. Wow. I'm going to go with Kansas City because they're at home. It's interesting with the weather forecast, but it's still, the Dolphins will not be in warm, sunny Florida and be able to put 70 points on somebody like they did Denver. But just Kansas City still, until they lose in the playoffs, I'll go with the Chiefs. I'll stick with my rule in college, stay with the champ until it's proven that they'll get beat, because a lot of times you think they're down. That's when the championship teams are at the most dangerous, is because, like the wounded prey, and that can still strike you. That's the way I look at a team like the Chiefs this year. So, and every time I don't stick with that logic, I get burned. So, hey.
I saw this on the wire. I don't know. It's just coming in. They're renaming Arrowhead Stadium Taylor Swift Park.
Well, you guys that can do memes and all, y'all ought to pick this week to create your own memes and stuff.
Yes, so, really should.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe she can build us a whole brand new stadium, because it's falling apart. We need it.
There you go.
How old is Arrowhead now?
Now, I don't know. It's probably one of the oldest, if not the oldest stadium. And then that and the Packer Stadium, probably Lambeau Field, are probably the two oldest stadiums in the league, I would guess. Now T comes up on something, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. Let's get through the games first. But the call is subjective, make no sense all weekend, because I know officiating is a matter of very near and dear to JT's heart right now.
I think that's a safe bet right there.
Exactly. So, all right. So let's go to the next
one. Crew gets nowhere near any of my games the rest of the year.
Well, let's move on to the Saturday game, the Sunday games. We have 3, 1, 4:30, and 8. The 1 o'clock game is the Steelers at the Bills. But guess what? The great Jess, one of our great channel people here, just keeps us with programming and me and stuff and all for the show. But hey, Jess came across this today. It's a cake.
Interesting.
$10.98 is a great price.
Is that a cookie cake?
It looks like a cookie cake to me. Yes, it looks like a cookie cake. Jess, is that a cookie cake? So with this in the background,
no.
Whoopa, how do you? Okay, good.
You're not going to like this, Dadman.
Okay, go ahead.
Best Buy date is 1/13. The game is on 1/14.
I don't care. I'd eat it.
So how dare they?
That's only one day. It'll be fine. That is that is questionable though, because Walmart surely knew.
Well, go in on the.
You know what I'm saying?
Go in on the 13th and buy it when they discount it. Trying to get.
There you go.
So
they're not going to have any of those left.
No.
Maybe they're like, listen, the Bills, they jump through tables. They're not going to care about one day old. It'll be
right.
You go ahead and you start us off with this one, okay?
I mean, I already gave my rant more or less. I think it's going to be a dominant Bills performance. I think, I know Pittsburgh is coming off a 3-game win streak, but Buffalo's coming off a 5-game win streak, and Buffalo beat some real playoff teams, not a playoff team benching all their starters. So I think I would say this is probably going to be the least exciting of the games this weekend. I don't think it's ever going to be in question personally.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and you're going with this one, you are going
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay. All right. JT, how do you see this game?
Bills. I don't have quite the same optimism for a spread in the score, but I do think the Bills win handily.
Okay.
Steelers fought really hard to get into where they are. I don't know if they can do that again. And the Bills just happen to be one of those AFC teams where if it's not the Browns going to the Super Bowl, I'd rather have the Bills. So that way the Bills can lose another Super Bowl.
Yes, there you go. Keep it going. We have got 14 people back with us again. Thank y'all for being with us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Twitch, and subscribe and hit the like on the YouTube side. We have got JT Kirk, Whoopa Troopa, and Sci-Fi Mombi with us talking NFL playoffs. So Sci-Fi Mombi, how do you see this game?
The Bills all the way.
All right.
I was arguing this with some friends, but I think it's going to come down to the Bills and the Chiefs again.
Yep.
For the AFC.
I could see that. Mm-hmm.
If the Bills and the Chiefs both win, they'll have to play next week because they're both 2 and 3 seed.
Oh, good point.
Mm-hmm.
Darn.
Yep. Admiral T points out the X-Files said, of course the Bills will never win the Super Bowl. And I will go ahead. I will go with Buffalo because they're at home. I don't like the Pittsburgh team. They're very ugly.
Awesome.
But then again, if Buffalo, it's just the ugly Steelers because I hate the Steelers. T got me with this logic right here. So there you go.
It's the Steelers, the most hated team.
Oh man,
in the NFL. Or is that the
Raiders?
Raiders?
That was the Raiders.
No, that's the Patriots. Are you forgetting something?
Oh,
just because they're bad now, that doesn't mean that people forgot the last 20 years or so.
That's true. That's true.
They never cheated. They just misinterpreted the rules, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, on the St. Louis Rams sideline, suspiciously for practice.
Yeah. It was an accident.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump to the 4:30 game on Sunday. The Green Bay Packers at the Dallas Cowboys. As a resident Dallas fan, I will definitely go with. Oh, and Jess, by the way, if you see more of these cakes as time progresses, feel free to send them in to me, and I'll use them on the show. Thanks. Appreciate it. Green Bay at Dallas. In spite of my my pessimism about with the Dak Prescott and the Cowboys in general, this team is loaded on defense. You don't have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback for Green Bay, and I do feel like Dallas should win this game easily at home. If this game is a struggle early for Dallas, they're in trouble. It's a game that Dallas needs to get ahead comfortably early and win comfortably. Not necessarily 45-3, but I'm just like 27-17. But the Dallas is always playing ahead. If Dallas is playing from behind, you watch the pressing and turnovers and other things. Critical. Dak Prescott cannot throw picks in this game. He's got to play consistently. They've not lost at home this year. There's no reason to lose this game to an average team coming in. And that's the thing that concerns me. Play from ahead. Don't turn the ball over. But, hey, so I got Dallas here. Sci-Fi Mombi, how do you think with this one?
Oh, I'm going to say Dallas.
Okay.
I just don't care for the Packers anymore.
I got you. Yep. And I agree. Prescott has not shown the ability to make a comeback. Maybe once in a while, but generally, especially if it's a playoff, if they get down, they're gone. The team does not rally for the most part. Not to say it can't be done or hasn't done, but when Dallas is behind in playoffs, especially, a couple weeks ago they were down at Buffalo by 2 scores. They came out flat in the third quarter. So, JT, how do you like with this game? How do you see with this?
I don't like this game. This game will be the winner of this plays the Lions the following week.
Wow. But
I'm
the
not
Lions
going to that Cowboys game.
But who gets
Dadman, you know.
Who gets the home game though there? Because I've not seen who's the
Lions
2 seed?
are the 3 seeds.
Okay, so Dallas would get the home game then.
Dallas would get the home game, but then the Lions would get it if they play the Packers.
Right.
So from that perspective, I guess you'd want the Packers to win being a Lions fan. However, I don't. Yeah, I'm still mad about that Cowboys-Lions officiating call. So this just really has me kind of
go back to Dallas and do it again.
On this.
That way, Dallas will win, and then they'll host the Lions again, and then you can get revenge on the same field where it happened.
But there's problems, see, because I know the stadium. I think they can break 100,000 if they do standing room in some areas and things. That's a lot of seats, a lot of tickets. But they still are the second lowest ticket price, which it means the enthusiasm for this game and this team is, compared to everybody else, not as there. So if you don't bring it with the home field, maybe they will. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. I just see what you're saying. The Packers could get up a score and then the Cowboys really struggle. So I'm going Cowboys, even though I'd rather have – I don't want to say that other not the Cowboys team win.
Right. It's a lesser 2 evils in this or a greater 2 evils, I guess, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah.
All right, Whoopa, how about you now? You're on the clock with this game.
I'm going to take the Packers. I think I'll be the pessimist for you, Dad, man.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know. I don't feel this is the game. Like, I think I feel pretty confident in all of my other picks. The picks I've made before so far and the picks that I'm going to make, I feel pretty confident in. This one, I don't know. Like, I think because Dallas is a good team, I think that they're the better football team. At the same time, they've had some weird struggles as well.
On the road. They've all been on the road, though, and this one's at home.
Yeah, I don't. Not that it doesn't matter, but I do think sometimes it's a little bit overblown how much home and away matters. Just because at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of interesting if they. I just got the Packers in this one. It's a tough. I don't have like a good reasoning or anything.
That's okay.
Sometimes
you can take reasoning and logic and throw it out the door when you come to playoff football. You really can't.
Yeah, and I don't know who. I feel like Dallas is the better team. Something just tells me that the Packers are gonna win.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, we are going to skip the Detroit game first. We're going to get to Philadelphia.
Yeah, no one cares about the Detroit game. We can skip it.
We're actually going to. I figure this way. We'll go ahead and get the one that'll take fewer minutes out of the way, and that's going to be Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. I'll just go ahead. I'll take Philly on the road because I think Tampa Bay is beat up. Like the NFC South. It's like the AFC South with Houston. They're the weakest divisions in all of football. They're playing teams that are more talented. That even though Philadelphia's had some struggles, it's still Philadelphia, and I see Philadelphia probably in a fairly easy win here. Whoopa, how do you think with this game? And you don't have to talk long on it. Let's just kind of get it in and out. So,
well. As much as I dislike Baker Mayfield, I'm taking the Bucks. I think they're winning. Eagles are on just a ridiculous cold streak. They're struggling very heavily, and I think that's going to continue, especially with Hurts not playing. I mean, he's hurt, kind of shaken up, and has not been playing his best football this season. So I'm taking the Bucks.
All right. Sounds good. JT, how do you see with this one?
I agree with Whoopa on this on most of his reasons. I mean, the Eagles have looked terrible the last month of play. I've also seen the Bucks in person this year, and they did not look good either. This game should have been 1:00 on Saturday, not on Monday. I don't care. I'm going to go to bed or watch somebody stream on YouTube. I'm not watching this thing.
I agree.
Eagles in a close and disgraceful for NFL playoff level football. And that's where it's going to be.
Yep. Okay. Sci-Fi Mommy, how about you with this one?
I honestly, I don't know, because they're both equally bad. I mean,
well, the Eagles don't have a better record at least, so they've actually done a little bit.
And the Kelsey brothers want to battle each other again. That's a show in and of itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Come back to the Super Bowl. I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
All right, you're going Eagles. All right, that's okay. So Whoopa's again out there taking on his own.
Tig brings up a good point. The Jets did beat the Eagles.
Yep. That's true. That's true. And that's why I think this is an appropriate comment right there. So laughing. But I wonder, Corey asked, I wonder what the worst of Detroit's teams in all of sports now.
It's the Pistons. They've won and lost a couple games, but they went ahead and lost 28 games in a row. That's a whole nother show.
I mean, how bad do you have to be to lose that many dang games?
This is the sacrifice. They had to make the Lions good somehow, and it came at the cost of the Pistons. Which, you know what? I think a lot of Detroit people would take that trade. So,
in a heartbeat.
Stunning said the Eagles lost because the Eagles got stuck in the Jets turbine.
Oh, ouch! Ouch!
That's funny.
So that's good. That is good. All right. Well, let us move over to the game of the week. LA Rams at Detroit with this game, 8:00 on NBC. Everybody's favorite game of the week. JT, you want to go first or you want to go last?
I'll go first.
Okay,
everybody already knows I'm picking the Detroit Lions on this. I will not sing the fight song like I tried to do during the open.
All right.
But I think the crowd is probably going to get a bunch of people arrested because of just being overly enthusiastic. You're going to see that the decibel meter on the Jumbotron there just tip the edge of the scales. People are going to be so crazy. And that's definitely going to help. I think Stat Padford is going to do what he always did in Detroit, throw for 400 yards and lose the game. So there we go. And I really hope I'm right. I really hope I'm right. I don't think people understand one playoff win in your entire life.
Yeah.
In 37 years. And it's been longer than that before, so.
Sounds like Kansas City's drought.
Yeah, well, OT can probably empathize being a Jets fan. So there we go.
All right. That's good. That is good. All right. Sci-Fi Mombi, why don't you take this one on?
Oh, boy. I'm a former Rams fan. So, well, I guess I'm a fair weather Rams fan. Can I say it like that? So my 23-year-old says it's the Rams. I'm going with the Lions. Sorry, Tony.
All right. There you go. Hey, any logics around here? I'm glad you explained it a little bit. That's awesome. So that's good. All right. Whoopa, what do you think with this game?
So I have an actual football question. Is Laporta going to play? Do you know?
Jeez, I'm going to have to look that up. I was hearing yes and no.
I don't remember if
he misses practice for rest, and that was today. I don't know. I don't know. It's been back and forth, and you hear a lot of rumor.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, I think that's definitely going to be a big deal for the Lions. But at the end of the day, the one thing I hope we can all agree on is that Stan Kroenke doesn't deserve nice things. So I don't care. I'm
sick of him having nice things.
I'm gonna pick the team that's playing his team anytime.
That's right.
And I do think that they've been doing very well. I think if they have Laporta, I think you're gonna look at Lions have a more complete team. So I'd have to go with that.
We do have 6 returning to full practice, and then an important one is the cornerback Jerry Jacobs, who is doing limited practice.
Okay.
So, and the defense needs all the help it can get, honestly. So having one more in the backfield,
back, right?
Who?
CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's back.
Oh, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
I believe
Chauncey
so.
Gardner-Johnson, the former Gator.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually one player that actually went.
Yes, he is.
He is actually one player that went back for the college bowl game when he could have sat out, and actually had 2 picks against Michigan, and actually really improved his draft stock by actually playing in the bowl game. But that's another issue for another time. So, all right. So let's see. Whoopa, you're okay. Did you finish up your pick now that you've gotten the roster injury report? So Detroit?
Yep. I'm going to Detroit.
Right. Yeah, it'd be interesting in this one to take LA as the surprise pick, the upset pick, the things like that, because everything's going against them. Detroit, 3rd seed overall, first time playoff here. Detroit at home, good, loving, great story. Detroit Lions. Everybody wants the underdog. Had not JT since 90 something for the playoffs.
93.
93. So go Lions, go Lions. They do. I always cheer for them about Thanksgiving Day. Oh gosh, the poor Tons, and now look, they're doing good and all. And so but I'm gonna take the Rams. Because as a Florida Gator fan, I have seen and a Dallas Cowboy fan, I've seen so many times when you come in with all the publicity, all the good stories, and then you fall flat, even when you're at home as a Cowboy fan. And this is not, look, the 2 teams, Detroit's a better team, I will say. This isn't a game of intangibles to me. LA has been there before, more recently, and I hate that. I don't like that strategy because but I think sometimes it does count a bit. I just think there's so much going up in Detroit. Like you said, there's the return of Stafford. There's all this stuff that can be a distraction. Like we talked about Taylor Swift Stadium and things like that. All this stuff can be a distraction, even to a team with so much going for it, like Detroit. How do they handle it? I'm going to go a little more questionable. LA is back on top. They've got a good roster. They've got a solid quarterback. And it pains me to say that about Matthew Stafford, but he can do it. He's shown to do it. And it would be probably typical if he goes back to Detroit to thumb the nose in the Detroit fans one more time. And this really, JT, pains me, but it's the intangibles. And I'm going based on experience and a gut feeling with this one, not necessarily X's and O's and the injury report.
Oh, hey, it's completely valid to say that because, I was saying with when Clobbering Times was on the show here a little earlier, that everybody here is so excited and it's so new and you have so much hope thrown into it. I can't look at this game very objectively. You end up, start looking at injury reports or this, that, and the other. And, Kelly Stafford dropped her Starbucks coffee. So that means, we're going to win by another 3 points. It's just all kinds of weird stuff you hear people getting into just because they want to win so badly.
Right. Exactly. And I'll take a look at that page later, Jess. But yeah, we'll use that down the road. But yeah, if you can see more cakes of the matchups coming down, that'd be cool to have for next week.
No,
actually, we will not be meeting. Before I forget, we will not be meeting next week because we will not be in a position where we can stream. So we'll come back in 2 weeks and talk about 2 weeks of playoff action. Just to let everybody, and that's not a programming announcement, folks. So please stay with me. But yeah, go ahead, JT.
I was going to say, if you were a Cowboys fan looking at who you want to play the next weekend, you'd probably rather play the Rams.
I agree.
Because Detroit ain't going to be happy.
That's another reversal where if the Lions come in, I might be taking the Lions because of that whole reversal. Yeah, the previous thing, the intangibles. So, what goes around comes around. But yeah, exactly. I'd rather play the Rams than I would Detroit right now because Detroit really pushed them in the last matchup.
Yep.
And they pushed Dallas in the last matchup. I mean, Detroit should have won that game.
And I don't know what the prices for flights are at this moment. But considering the cheapest tickets in Detroit are about $400, and the cheapest tickets in Dallas are about $100. If Dallas does win and the Lions win, I mean, it'd almost be pretty much just as cheap to book a flight from Detroit to Dallas and get a playoff ticket. Then going just to the home playoff game. So I bet if that matchup,
it is a quick flight. I have flown from Detroit to Dallas. It's a pretty quick flight too.
I think it's not. I'm not saying it's going to be like it's going to be a Detroit home game, but I bet you there's going to be a lot of Detroit fans out there. If it happens, because it doesn't happen often, as JT knows, and with the prices at the home games, I mean, you might as well. At least this way, you get a little bit of a vacation in.
Yes, that's another good point. You get out of the cold weather.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, well, that's it. Let me recap. Clobbery's got Kansas City, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Dallas, Detroit, Philadelphia. JT has Miami, Houston, Buffalo, Dallas, Detroit, Philadelphia. Sci-Fi Bombay has Kansas City, Cleveland, Buffalo, Dallas, Detroit, Philadelphia. Whoopa has Kansas City, Cleveland, Buffalo, Green Bay, Detroit, Tampa Bay. I have Kansas City, Cleveland, Buffalo, Dallas, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia. So we'll come back in a couple weeks and see how we do it. So actually what I'm going to do, though, is I will be available next week. When the games conclude this weekend, just let me know your winners for the next week, and I'll keep it going when I get back for the next show. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right, we'll just have to rotate with that. All right, well, folks, that's the NFL playoffs first round, and we've got it. Any last thoughts on this? Because there's a couple of things that we will talk about real quickly in a few minutes we got left. Because I do want to say something real quick. So,
Dadman, you'll either see me very happy on Sunday or don't text me Sunday night on Twitter.
Exactly.
It's going to be one of those.
I got you. I understand that. Well, you know what? The hell with this. I want to do something real quick. I want to jump the thing real quick because we got 12 people with us, and I want to say this before things go out because I do want to hit the coaching vacancies real quick, because I think Whippa or you or JT had something on the college ranks, but we also a number of them. But I want to announce this real quick, real fast, and I will come back to it again at the end. A special programming note that I mentioned is coming up Saturday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern, and I will let you see it.
Aww.
Congratulations.
The missus made this tonight.
That's amazing.
We're going to have a 28th wedding anniversary celebration. Me and the missus will be on. It'll probably not be a 3-hour glorious finale. We'll probably do it about an hour and a half. Something to say hi to all of our friends and celebrate the night and to the day. And then we'll probably go eat or something afterwards and, have a good evening. But, just wanted to make sure for people, if you had to leave, that you actually got to see this before we leave. But I will replay it and it will go out on Twitter tonight. But hey, with 13 of y'all watching, so just wanted to get this word out here for us. So, all right. Going to be fun. Come questions. We'll see what we can answer. I don't get all the story, but I'm sure you've heard plenty of our funny stories and stuff and all that. Rehash a few more of those and all that. So have some fun with that on Friday night or Saturday night. So, thank you for the telling. Yeah, we're not a gambling site. Yes, exactly. We're just picking up straight up. So, and hey, Mrs. Dadman, you're lurking. You're a real trooper for putting up with this banana football for all these years, according to JT Kurt. So thank you.
Had to give it to you a little bit there.
I gotcha. Like Rainbow Canuck is the whole story is about her. Sub to her, get her past me. We're at 560. Get her up to 561 soon. Real quick with this, the NFL, and we brought this to my attention today, and it turned out 7 coaching vacancies in the NFL. 3 happened during the year. 3 were after the season. Then just today, a fourth that's happened today with Pete Carroll being relieved of duties in Seattle. Open are the job, and these are the jobs that are open in the NFL. Let's see, it's because it started earlier in the season. I think Josh McDaniels was fired. Tennessee Titans released Mike Vrabel. The Commanders fired Ron Rivera, which surprised me. Let's see, Atlanta Falcons fired Arthur Smith. The Chargers fired Brandon Staley, who I don't think recovered from that 27-point choke on the road with the Jaguars last year in the playoffs. Carolina fired Frank Reich in his only season during the season. And the Raiders, of course, like I said, fired Josh McDaniels, who was 9-16 over 2 seasons. So if your Muslim uncle's still here, feel free to tell us what you thought about him. So, and of course, New York Giants have an opening defensive coordinator position by the great Wink Martindale. I thought he did game shows. Anyway, but anyway, so what do you think with all this? 7 teams out of 32 NFL teams, or 30? It's like 32 teams. That's almost a quarter of the jobs that are open. I actually know 8. It's almost my math. It's
quarters right.
Quarters right.
Kind of surprised me.
Yeah, it's a lot at one time. I mean, what do you think, guys? What do you think the better jobs are that are out there?
I think the best job is probably Seahawks. I do think if I had to go another one, I don't think the Raiders are going to have an opening. If Mark Davis doesn't screw it up, whoever's the interim coach there has done a great job and has rallied that team around him. So hopefully Mark Davis doesn't screw it up and just sticks with the guy they have.
Okay. JT or
yeah, I would agree with the Seahawks, but I also think maybe the Panthers, because they got rid of their coach so early, they might have already been doing their search. It's a lower tax state than some of these others, which comes into play. It really does. If you're Jim Harbaugh looking at all these, wondering how you can screw your team in Ann Arbor, because of all the cheating you've done, allegedly, then I might take Carolina.
I don't think. I think Carolina is the least attractive spot.
You think so?
Just because, their owner, who took over in 2019, Tepper, this is the 3rd coach he's fired since 2019. gave Frank Reich the job. Reportedly, we don't know, obviously, but reportedly, hired Frank Reich. Frank Reich said, "Hey, I want CJ Stroud with that first overall pick," and he said, "No, we're taking Bryce Young," and then fired Frank Reich mid-season for not doing good with the quarterback that he said he didn't want. Which, whether it's bad drafting, it's not good to hire your coach and then give him someone he doesn't want, and then fire him midseason for not doing good with it.
Well, unless you want to protect your own ego, because you sit there looking at the guy that told you not to do it every week, and he was right and you're wrong. So,
but I just wonder. It sounds like Tepper's a really crappy owner. Like throwing drinks on people. He's apparently meddles with the day-to-day.
That's
organization.
But what owner? Look at all these franchises. Which owners don't? Probably Seattle's the best job, like you said. That's the thing, is because Tennessee, I don't know. Tennessee might be okay if you got still Derrick Henry if they bring him back, but they have quarterback problems and stuff like that. But Tennessee's not so bad. But like the Commanders, did Snyder finally sell the team?
Yep.
Or is he okay?
There's
but still,
a new owner finally.
Okay, but still, I think the stench is still there. Atlanta is Atlanta. The Chargers are Spanos. The Carolina, like you said there, and then of course Las Vegas is the former Oakland. It's just the ownership groups in some of these cases. Would you really want to work for them?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big thing. I think really those two jobs are Tennessee and Tennessee and Seattle. But there's also like in the Houston. Houston job not open. But that was a different story about Houston's ownership with some potential issues in legalities going in with it. But that's a different story. We may not have time for tonight. But
I think Atlanta could be a pretty good job, actually, just because I think they have good players. Their defense is starting to come along and still needs a lot of work. And you need a quarterback. But like, if you're assuming that they didn't screw up in drafting, you've got Bijan, you've got Kyle Pitts, you got Drake London, and you've had some people who are performing outside of that as well. The problem is, A, you didn't have a great quarterback to get them the ball, and B, Arthur Smith was like, "Hey, you know how we drafted this tight end fourth overall? We're gonna have a play where the tight end 2 throws the ball to the tight end 3, and that's gonna be our 2-point conversion." Like, Arthur Smith is just dumb.
I know what my problem with Atlanta's been. I kept thinking Arthur Blank was the owner. Arthur Smith is the coach. I've been thinking all day, well, why did they fire the owner? I was like, but yeah, Arthur, you can't have two people with the same name. So
to me, I would think two of the worst options on here are the Raiders and the Chargers. Yeah. And I really don't like the Chargers. One, everybody there gets hurt. They also are the second best team in your town.
Yep.
So nobody cares about you. They should have stayed in San Diego.
Yep.
But hey, they also have to play the Chiefs twice. The Raiders and the Chargers both have to play the Chiefs. So if you've got this old team that gets hurt, you don't have tremendous draft capital. I'd have to go and look and see.
They do have their first round pick is the 5th overall, but I don't think they have anything else after that.
Yeah, and they could. There's plenty of time before the draft. They could make some moves, but I think those jobs will be mediocrity, and you're going to be there maybe 3 years, and maybe that's all you want to coach. But I don't think you have the space. And if you're a very competitive person, and all these coaches are. All these coaches are very competitive, no matter how nice they look in the press conference.
Yes.
They're competitive people to the core, and that's what it takes to be a head coach in the NFL or any of the other coaching jobs before that, for that matter.
Yep.
I just would take one look at those and say, what's my potential upside to actually win anything? I think those are probably the two toughest from that perspective. Yeah. I know we said Carolina with maybe the owner isn't the best, but look at where some of these teams you have the potential to actually do something in the division. Those I don't think are it.
Yeah, and like Dadman said, I mean, if you're talking about ownership, Spanos is not a great one. But
no,
they've got.
Look at all the big San Diego fans, especially on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that team, I mean, they've got Herbert, which is nice, but Keenan Allen's getting up there. Eckler's probably gone after this year. There's a lot of pieces on that team that's kind of aging. I don't know if they're really on the upturn.
And I'm looking at something here. It says they'll be $35 million over the salary cap going into next year.
That's another consideration. Yeah.
So they're going to be cutting someone.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, Sci-Fi Mommy, do you got any final thoughts here? Because we're going to go ahead and wrap up because I need to get a few things done before bed. We've covered the NFL playoff talk. We've talked about Saban. Well, we talked a little bit about the job openings. We'll have to get the college job openings down the road. But any final thoughts, Sci-Fi Mommy?
Nope. Just ready for a good weekend of football.
All right, there you go. Ready for some football. JT, if you can put links in for me for Sci-Fi Mommy and Whoopa Troopa. Whoopa. What do you got planned for us coming up?
Well, this Saturday, at some point, I'm going to be playing. What's it called? Guardians of the Galaxy, because I finally. So they gave. I got that game on Xbox a while ago, and I was streaming it, and it was working kind of, but streaming from Xbox to PC can be shaky, especially with the new system they have. So I hadn't played it in a long time. And then just recently they added it on PC. I got it for free on the Epic Games Store. And so now I can just stream it from my computer, which might make my computer explode. We'll see, but at least it will be hopefully easy to stream. So I'm going to be streaming that again on this Saturday. And
I will say that sound you were making earlier has gone away, so that's a good thing. So maybe it will not blow up.
Maybe, I don't know. My computer is it's a nice computer, but it's still a laptop, and playing some newer games can be a struggle.
Exactly. And Sci-Fi Mommy, I did not mean to skip you. I wanted to make sure you got his final thoughts on football. What have you got coming up? Tell us all about your channel.
We hit 100 subscribers.
Yay!
Finally.
Woo!
We've been doing taboo subjects, so we've gone through religion and politics, and next is mental health, and then that'll transition into our "We're No Experts, but you can ask us anyway" series.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
Where we're going to talk wellness, and we started it last year, and it was so much fun. And I'm actually adding, because I work in the medical insurance industry.
Oh boy!
And I've just had a bunch of people asking me about claims and all that stuff. So I thought maybe I'll add that this year.
Yep.
Just do a quick
I tell you
overview.
what, that's a field that is a field. I tell you, especially if you have any expertise, it's like wow, it's really, really something. So, all right,
and then we'll throw some streams in there somewhere.
All right, and you never know.
Barbie review and all kinds. You got a lot of different types of videos too, so you're not going there just for one thing.
Yeah, I still have Doctor Who to finish. There was something else I just finished. I don't have it put out there. Ted starts tonight, actually at midnight. So I have that to start reviewing.
Ted, like the movie Ted with the bear?
Ted, the TV series on Peacock.
Okay. Well, hey, speaking of the Mrs. channel, JT, if you could throw Mrs. channel out there too.
Sure.
Mrs. got 2 Peeing Bear builds coming in.
Yay.
So, hey, talk about that. I think of Peeing Bears. I think of Ted,
Yeah.
That's a fun show. So it's a fun movie. What network or what streaming service is showing the TV show?
Peacock.
The one I don't have.
Yeah.
Well, wait, I might actually have Peacock.
And then Seth put out an update for us on the Orville. It's not dead, so people need to quit saying it's canceled. But we're eagerly waiting for an announcement now that he's got Ted going out. So,
hey, all right. So check out all these great channels and stuff. We have Peacock. I can see the football game Saturday night. I forgot about it. I think we got it for some other reason to watch something else, and
They have a lot of great shows. Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
I'm just too cheap. I don't want to pay for all this stuff.
I don't blame you. We have so much.
Exactly. But it's like you're paying more, but get more options than your local cable company, at least for that. So check these great people out. You never know when they pop on a stream of mine at random. So remember, this stream is going to be the next several weeks leading up into the week of the Super Bowl, and then maybe the week after the Super Bowl with these guys. And Clavy will jump in as he can, except for next Wednesday we won't be here. JT Kirk, what have you want to say? Any final thoughts on? Promote yourself somehow, or
I sure don't have a channel right now. Maybe we'll one day, but for now I love hanging out here on Dadman's channel. I love hanging out Fridays doing Buck Rogers. So folks, if you haven't yet, join us on Fridays with Buck Rogers with Hungry Boy,
Daisy,
yep. Myself. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
It's always tough to remember Friday by the time Wednesday rolls around. I was trying to remember what episodes we were doing this week.
It is. Well, I am going to show the slide. I'm going to show the slide in just a second.
Good. Good.
But folks, hey, catch JT here. JT was a lifesaver on my New Year's stream because he came in and out of the bullpen and helped carry for a few hours. Really did a great job with that.
Sure.
Thank you, JT, for always being around and
You're
helping.
very welcome.
Absolutely. You and Dave came in. I was like, I went to the finish line. But hey, all right. Well, let me say about Buck Rogers on Friday. Here's the episodes 17 and 18. Our dollar returns. We get our favorite princess back, and Twinkie is missing. So these hopefully are better than what we had the last couple weeks. So we shall see what will happen. Join us for that if you remember the show. If not, just come hang out with us, and we have fun and we demonstrate and all kinds of laughs.
We do. Daisy has some great inputs. Hungry Boy has some very astute notes that he always takes.
And and sometimes we even go squirrel and we get off topic a few times here and there.
Sure. But even watching this episode, I always get different viewpoints from everybody on the panel. So it's always a good time. I feel like, it's a great way to appreciate, classic TV. So.
All right. And then of course, after that, I may do something tomorrow night. I may not, because I need to get stuff done because we've got plans for next week, but also Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope you can join us. Our 28th wedding anniversary on the, hey, speaking of squirrels, it's Lisa. Hey, Lisa. How are you tonight?
Lisa.
Right here. Hey, good to see you tonight. Right in here. Right in time for this announcement. Saturday night, we're going to have a wedding anniversary. We got it at 7 because we do it a little bit, and then we'll go to dinner afterwards and have fun and share the holiday with, the celebration with everybody for a bit and kind of have a party. And I hope you can make it. If not, catch the replays. And so thank you. And, good to have. What is shotgun at JT
She
Kirk?
said squirrel. I said outdoor cat. Now she says shotgun, and I was going to say.
There's the thing there. Outdoor cat, shotgun. All right, there's the spirit. So, all right, but hey, so join us for that. 13 people here tonight. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're still subscribed. And thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. So look forward to joining us for some. Yes, and the missus said Saturday will be fun. Exactly. Yeah. And
another winter anniversary like me. It's cool. It's cool to see that.
Well, the hardest thing is I'll tell you more. The hardest time has been with my job, with work, getting time off. But this is the first time in years where I'm actually taking time off around the anniversary. So it's like, it's time, so new bosses, more understanding. So we're good for it. All righty. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. That's the big channel announcement we have for tonight. Of course, chill chats or something, or impromptu fortnights, go random fortnight. So make sure you get the notifications on YouTube and Twitch, although they don't always work. Late night Dadman and Friends come spontaneous also, and streams and videos on youtube.com, twitch.tv at dadmanwalking55, both, and on Twitter or X, dadmanwalking55. That's where to be. Follow me on Twitter for the latest for when I go live at all times. So, hey, we appreciate your support. Thank you for everything. And, oh gosh, Lisa takes care of the rodents, I guess, because of the fields, the crops and stuff. So like, well, guys, any last thoughts before we close out tonight that may have come up to your mind about the playoffs and stuff?
Go Lions.
Go Lions. All right. Go Lions. Go Cowboys. Go Chiefs. Whoopa. Go Rams.
No, get out of here. The only hot take I think I have is whoever wins in that game, since we won't be here next week, I think whoever wins in the game between the Browns versus the Texans, I think they will beat the Ravens. So there's that.
Bold. I like it.
And Lisa asked when the Super Bowl. When is the Super Bowl? It's February 11th.
Wherever you bring the spoon, any bowl can be a Super Bowl.
Now I tell you what, that's why I wish I was somewhere closer to Lisa, because dadgummit, I'm sure that would be a hell of a Super Bowl party. Get Lisa to make the food and cater it. I'd pay for that. Yeah.
And the Pro Bowl is the 14th. That always seems to get missed.
See, I've gotten out of Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything to me anymore because it's just they made it flag football and done all kinds of silly other things. It's like I miss it being in Hawaii Rundown Stadium. So
last year a backup quarterback was in the Pro Bowl, so I don't trust any of it.
You almost have more fun watching them play beer pong against each other, one conference against another.
That would be cool.
I wish most people did this. Like all the sports, but I wish they brought back all the skills competitions. That was fun. Like I don't think
that would be.
I don't think I've ever really watched an all-star break from any sport for the game. But I remember NHL. You know, they had all these skills competitions. The fastest skater. They had like the silly shootout thing. That stuff was fun. When the NFL did here's the quarterbacks and how far they can throw. From the end zone and stuff like that. Like that's cool. Or any stuff like that. That's fun. The game itself, not that fun. So I wish they did more skills competitions.
Yep. All right. Well, I mean, just don't have beach volleyball, which kind of ended the career of Robert Edwards, the former Georgia running back that went to play for New England and blew out his knee. So exactly. And at least agrees with you, Whoopa. So that's good.
Thank you, Lisa. I always knew that you were the brains here.
I tell you, I know Lisa knows. I know Lisa knows her sports, but she won't admit to it. So I tell you, I'm always working to get Lisa on some sports, but it happens. Even one time at 5 o'clock in the morning, we did the 24 hours fortnight. She resorted to talking sports to stay awake. But no, not Top Gun beach volleyball. But I got you. Like that. No.
Lisa, that's always a good time.
All right. I remember the scene now. I got you ladies. All right. There'll be ladies' night, beach volleyball.
There you go.
Don't get you started. What on the Fortnite, 24-hour Fortnite, or on sports? So beach volleyball.
We can talk about that.
So heck yeah, Mombi. I think the ladies are going to take over the stream then at that point. So, but folks, y'all have a great night. I got to get a few things done, and y'all have a sports. Yeah. You know you want to, but I'm giving you a hard time. Thanks for being here, Lisa. We appreciate your support. We appreciate everybody that's been here tonight. We got 11 going out. We've got 19 likes, and thanks for all the support. This was a wonderful turnout for a sports show and in the middle of the week. So thank you all. We will see you with this in 2 weeks. But hope to see you Friday night for Buck Rogers and then again Saturday for our anniversary stream if we don't see you before then. And everybody have a great night and take care, and we will catch you later. Bye all.